I didn't enjoy this, but I did finish it. And now I want to pick up stuff that I know I'm going to enjoy. I'm back to that love of reading and wanting to read, and that just feels so good. So even though this book wasn't the best, it did help kick my butt out of that reading slump. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten. I feel like this is just going to be another rambly catch up, what I've been doing and what I've been reading. It's been a really interesting time, so it feels like for me forever since I've actually done a video, which although if you guys have been watching, yes, I have had a video once a week come out. Apart from the last catch-up video, those were all pre-filmed, so I haven't actually stood or sat in front of the camera in such a long time. Thankfully though, things are hopefully starting to settle down, which is amazing. I've passed everything I needed to pass for this new job. Now I'm officially on the rota and I know what I'm doing, so I can actually start planning things and working out what I can do when I can do it and stuff, which has been the biggest relief. I have not enjoyed not knowing what I'm doing week to week and just having things constantly change. It's just been a whole big thing, and it definitely affected my reading, and so now I feel so much calmer and happier. I'm hoping that I'm out of this reading slump, which I feel like I've been in forever. So yeah, thank you so much for all your patience and everything. It's been absolutely lovely. Going forward, I don't know if I'm still going to continue with vlogs, because obviously I haven't done vlogs for a little while. With the new job and everything, I want to settle in properly to that new routine, and then I'm not sure, because in all honesty, the vlogs for me were getting a little bit wearing. I didn't know what to say all the time. Like, it's my day-to-day life, and because I am such a control freak, it's generally the same each day, and so I was feeling like I'm just repeating myself constantly. I may try and do them again. I may do it once every 2 weeks or something. We'll see. I haven't fully decided about that. But going forward, we're going to be having some videos. I feel really inspired. I've got lots of ideas, but please put in the comments below any videos or things that you would like to see. So yeah, okay, right. That's a bit of a rambly introduction. Let's just get straight to what I've been reading, because I feel like my reading taste during this whole time of change was changed as well, like completely. The last time I spoke to you, I was in the middle of reading The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osmond, and this I did actually finish. I did finish it later that week, and I really enjoyed this. The ending was split. If those of you who watched that video remember, my mum didn't like it, and Christina over at Christina Campbell Reads did really enjoy it, and I actually sit with her. I really liked the ending of this. I think it all wrapped up really well. Everyone had done something at some point, and it was all twisty turny, and I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was just a great climax to everything that happened. So I was very pleased that I actually finished this. Have I put any of these books through Cool Pal yet? No. Do I need to do a mass sort out for the last 2 months of what I've been reading? Yes, that's going to take a bit of time, and I'm not looking forward to it. So I don't have a star rating to give you on this book, but I very much enjoyed it. In my mind, it sits at like a 4 stars. It was exactly what I needed at the time, and the dry humour and the characters were just perfect. So while I was finishing up reading this, I was taking The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin to work. Now, I really can't remember if I mentioned this in the last video, if I was still reading it back then or not. I have no idea. I don't think so. But this is the book that I've been taking to work, and I am only halfway through. This has been good because I love the writing style, but also very, very slow. That's mainly because of the science element in this book just feels really heavy. So this is the 3rd book in a trilogy. We're in this world where there is a 5th season that happens, and it basically just tears the world apart. It's almost like a series of earthquakes that keeps happening, and as a result, humanity and the way they've built their civilization and everything is very different. It's a lot harsher. You do get a lot of elements of that, just the brutality of, well, we need to survive, and this is just the way we look at things. And now that would be absolutely horrifying, but I suppose when you are dealing with such extreme world events as this, I mean, who's to say? So I do like it. I think it is a good book. I really enjoyed the first book. I thought it was very interesting the way it's written and everything. But this book, I don't know whether it's just because there has been such a gap between this book and the second book, or whether it is just so heavy on the science side, and it could be a mix of both. I am enjoying the storyline, I'm enjoying our characters, I enjoy the writing style, but the science side of this just feels very, very heavy, and I'm struggling to get through it all. Not because I don't understand it or anything, it's just generally speaking, when I'm reading books, I prefer historical settings, and so having something that is so science-based is a bit of a slog to get through. This book was outside my comfort zone. This whole series was, because it's dystopian, it's got science fiction in it. It's really not my comfort zone. And like I say, I do like it, but I'm also really struggling to actually read it and get through it. And this is a book that I've been happily putting down and not picking up for a few days on end and not being too bothered about that. I do want to finish it though. As said, I am enjoying the writing style, which I've said probably about 50 times. But yeah, this has been taking its time. It's something that I've said to myself, okay, I'm going to read on the way to work, on my break and things, and it's not really been happening, and it's just because I'm not as invested. It's one of these series where I'm like, would I ever reread this trilogy? Probably not. I mean, maybe the first book, because I did like that first book, but other than that, it's not been a new favourite. So, which is a shame, because like the writing is impeccable. And after I finished the Thursday Murder Club, I thought, I'm taking Stone Sky to work, so I'd have a different book for at home, and I decided to go with my buddy read for the month, which is Wolf Hall by Hilary and Mantle, and this was supposed to be a buddy read with Kris over at Kris Reviews, and yeah, I've been terrible at buddy reading. This is just, yeah, I mean, look, that's how much I've read, and I read that the first time I picked this book up, and I haven't picked it up since. And I feel so frustrated with myself, because I'm just like, this is a book I've been so excited to read. It's in a time period that I'm absolutely fascinated by, and yet I just haven't read it. And it's dreadful, and I feel really bad. But this is what I mean by I feel like my reading taste really got affected during all the turmoil of what was happening and me not knowing what I'm doing on a week-to-week basis. Like, it was just so frustrating, and it meant that my concentration for things just went out the window. So unfortunately this book just hasn't been read. I'm sorry, Kris, I've been dreadful at buddy reading. This book is following the downfall of the Boleyn family. The person that made it happen, Thomas Cresswell, or was definitely highly influential in it. It's a book that I've been wanting to read for a while. I'm very much interested in the history of the Boleyn family and the Tudor time period and everything like that. Now, I have to admit, I'm not a massive history buff, but if I could specialise in one area, that is the area that I would be most interested in. You know, Henry VIII's wives, and specifically the Boleyn family, the fall of the Boleyn family. And so this is a book that I really wanted to read. Yes, it is fiction, it's not a non-fiction book, but I love the fact that authors take these historical figures and give them thoughts and feelings and a look into what they possibly could have felt at the time. Now, obviously, no one can say for sure what exactly was going on in that person's mind. Nobody is alive today to tell us what exactly happened. We just have the bare bones, the facts, and even those facts are always skewed by the bias of the person that's recording them. So I'm always interested when we have an author that can take those moments in history and give that person extra context that we just can't get otherwise. And yeah, I'm really intrigued. I really want to read this book. I just haven't been, and I don't even have a reason why. The only thing that I can say about this book so far is that Thomas Cresswell's dad was very abusive, and we see him as a young child as he's just been beaten and what he's having to deal with. He then leaves home. We have this time jump and he's with the Cardinal, and that is literally all I'm up to. Like, that's all I've read. Now, Kris has mentioned a few times that she's not getting on with the writing of this, that just the general writing style of it. I can't really comment. I've literally only read 26 pages. That's how much I've read of this book. It's a big book and yeah, 26 pages. So I can't comment on the writing style, but from what I have read, it seemed fine to me. I was quite happy to read it. I really want to get on this. Now, I'm debating whether I'm going to continue on with this book, because I know I definitely want to finish Stone Sky because I'm halfway through, and I have this motivation back to get reading. So I'm definitely going to be finishing this one before the month's up. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue on with this one in the month, just because it's such a big book. I know I'm not going to finish it in the week and a half's time that I've got from filming this video. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just bring it over into April, see how my TBR game goes, and go from there with just see if I can fit it into another prompt or something with this book. It is one I definitely want to read soon and actually make progress with, as I've been saying. I feel like this video is a lot of me repeating because I've got out of the habit of actually filming. So I'm sorry, we'll see if we can edit it into something that's a bit better. But yeah, I really want to read this book. I'm so intrigued, but yeah. We'll see if it actually happens. So because I decided not to read Wolf Hall after the first time of reading it, to be fair, there's a couple of factors in that. One, I was just tired after work and stuff, so I just never got around to picking it back up. And two, me and my partner went to Costco and I saw this book and it was only £8.99. And this book is normally £18.99, so it was a good £10 saving, and I was like, I really enjoyed that first book. So this is The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osmond. This is his second book and it is with the same Thursday Murder Club gang, and I really enjoyed this. And it definitely felt like the book that I needed to read at the time because, again, I was still in that mindset of struggling with just so much that had been going on and not knowing what I was doing all the time. And so having something where it really didn't take a lot of concentration, and this was just so relaxing. You've got the humour, you've got characters that I really enjoyed. That is all I wanted to happen with, like, that was what I needed. Now, I'm not going to tell you too much about the plot of this one because it is a murder mystery, and I do think you need to go into murder mysteries knowing as little as possible, but it is so much fun and I love the closer look into our characters. The things that this book actually deals with is good as alongside the actual murder mystery element that's happening. So I think it works really well. There are moments in this where I just laughed out loud. It is just a fun book, one that is gripping, easy to follow. I just adored it, and I do think these books are definitely something that I would happily reread because I enjoy these characters so much. And normally with murder mysteries I don't tend to reread them, but these ones I could happily sit there and reread. So yeah, very much enjoyed this as well, and it is the main reason why I didn't read Wolf Hall, but it's not an excuse for why I didn't pick it up when I finished this one, because once I finished this one I was then thinking to myself, well, I seem to be really enjoying murder mysteries. That seems to be what I can read and chill out and after work read for like 30 minutes to an hour and just relax to, whereas the other books I just wasn't having that connection to, which again, surprising because those are books that I would have thought I would have preferred to read. Based on that theory, I picked up Blood Orange by Harriet Tice, and yeah, you know what, I did finish it. I did read it over the course of a few days, so I finished it up really quickly. It's a nice short book, but I didn't enjoy this one. It did fit what I wanted it to in terms of it being a very easy read. It didn't require a lot of concentration on my part. It flowed really well. You could pick it up, put it down, and it not really matter where you were, sort of thing. But the actual story, the actual characters and stuff, I just didn't like. So we're following this barrister and she is married, she has a daughter, but as it says on the front here, a damaged marriage. It very much is damaged. It's gone very toxic between her and her husband, and you can definitely see how from her perspective she's trying to see things, but you could see as an outside reader that this isn't normal, that this shouldn't be that way. She also has an affair, and again, that's very toxic and everything. I think we're just seeing the theme. Basically, her life is a mess and everything in it is just really toxic, and she's trying to pull herself together but ultimately seems to fail each time. It was an okay book. Is this a book I'm ever going to pick up and read again? No, not at all. Am I probably going to unhaul it and give it to the charity shop? Yes. It was okay, and it did serve that need, as I said, for something that was really low commitment on my part in terms of reading, but it's not one that I'm interested in. But the good side to that is it actually kind of got me out of that slump of feeling like I can't read, I don't want to read and things like that, because I read this book and I was like, you know what, I didn't enjoy this, but I did finish it, and now I want to pick up stuff that I know I'm going to enjoy. And I'm back to that love of reading and wanting to read, and that just feels so good. So even though this book wasn't the best, it did help kick my butt out of that reading slump. So yeah, weirdly enough, the only books that I have finished so far this month are murder mysteries, thrillers. That's it. That is it. Which is a complete change to what I normally read. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd enjoy a murder mystery, but it's not something that I would gravitate towards normally. Instead, it would be fantasy and the historical fiction of a time period that I'm really invested in, except these are the two books that I haven't finished. And like I said, probably not going to finish this one. Going to see if I can get onto my April TBR instead. So yeah, I feel very... weird about what's happened with my reading taste, but at the same time I feel like murder mysteries are that really relaxing, simple book to me. It's something that I never have to pay too much attention to, which is weird because it's a mystery, you think you're paying more attention to it, but for me, no, they've always been that quicker read, a bit more simple, not something I've had to focus heavily on. With all the uncertainty that I've been dealing with lately, that was definitely what was needed, but now things are looking a lot better, a lot more like I know what I'm doing and stuff, so fingers crossed we can get back to reading. As I said, the plan is before April to finish The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin. That's the book I definitely want to read. If I get enough time, I will also read the book that you guys picked for my March TBR, and the choices were between How to Kill My Family and The Dinner Guest, which I'll need to have a look at that video and just see what one won. So that's the plan. We'll see if that actually happens. Going forward, I do plan to get back into the routine of actually doing proper wrap-ups at the end of each month. I'm not going to bother for this month because that's pretty much all I've read. And if I do manage to fit anything else in, I'll just add it into April when I do that. And yeah, that's where we're at. So thank you so much for watching this rambly mess of a video. As said, hopefully things will get back to normal and I can start getting back into the routine of things. Potentially a vlog maybe every 2 weeks or something, but I'm not going to guarantee that. But yeah, honestly, okay, right, we are just rambling for England and that's not needed. I need to get ready for work, so I'm going to go off and do all of that. I hope you guys have been doing well and that everything's been going good for you all. If you've made it this far, let's put a little book emoji. Let's do a book emoji because I actually feel motivated to do videos, to read and things like that. So that's a good start. So let's put a book emoji. And if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it that thumbs up, subscribe, comment to let me know that you're here. Social media links will be linked below and I will of course catch you in the next one.